Welcome to the Two Fun Guys podcast. We are post Eclipse Festival, and we thought, while we were at the festival, why not just schedule a podcast so we can come in and kind of share our stories, insights, experience. Also, kind of a way to document everything that happens. Because when you go to a festival, so much happens in that container over 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Like, so much happens. And if you don't come back and reflect or journal, you're really missing out, because it's a good opportunity to reflect on business, life, relationships, health, all kinds of things. And if you just let those nuggets go, same with like a ceremony, they always say it's all about integration. It's all about integration. You're going to have these peak incredible experiences, but to take the insights and some of the magic you felt to continue it forward long term, you got to reflect. And that's the integration piece. And then so we're like, podcast is a great way to integrate and talk about it. Also, everyone keeps asking us about it, so it's like, all right, we'll share.
Yeah, they ask about our festival experience. They ask about our skincare routine. Mm-hmm. They ask about all these things. So why not just make an episode?
Who's my manicurist? Exactly.
And so we'll just deep dive for you, and you guys can see behind the curtain. We didn't write it all down. This is just going to be a full
we're just going to see what comes out of
stream of consciousness for you, and you're going to be surprised at what we say, and so are we.
Exactly. Okay, so Eclipse Festival. A lot of people don't understand what Eclipse Festival is. A lot of people are like, when they talk to me, they say, was it this thing? Like, they don't, when you start to describe how big it was, they're like, oh, like they think, it also makes sense. When you hear Eclipse Festival, I think of Renaissance Fair, some weird thing.
What?
Yeah, like Eclipse Festival. It's like, it's a festival for the eclipse. That's what I think. Like, if you don't know anything about it's like a huge festival, I don't know. It sounds very much like, because there was other little eclipse festivals, which was probably more of what people are thinking of. But you went to 2017. You should tell people what that was. And then you told me about it, and I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, so I talked this festival up to Brent a lot, because everybody that went to the 2017 Oregon Eclipse Festival was in agreement that that was the greatest festival that they've ever been to. The way it was put together, the lineup of the artists, the art installations, the production, everything was just spot on the entire time. And it was huge. Probably the same amount of people, 30 to 40,000 people showed up to the 2017 Oregon Eclipse. And it's these 5 or 6 different music festival companies that come together, and they follow the eclipse around, and then they produce a huge festival. So it's really well put together. And this one was also pretty well put together. There were some things to be missed, but overall, it's an incredible place, and it's a really large festival, but it's not a mainstream large festival like EDC or Ultra, which you'll never catch me at one of those. I can't do it. After working for a music festival company for years, I've been to fucking countless festivals, and a lot of them are that sort of mainstream style, and I just can't do them anymore. So this is more like burner crowd, hippie crowd, a little more conscious. People are more aware. They're not littering everywhere. It's a little bit more like, the vibes are just a little bit more immaculate than going to like Ultra Music Festival. Yeah. So, but it's still huge, and it's massive, but people don't really know about it unless you're in like the festival scene. So I'm curious though, Brent, because this was your first like more burner style festival, more bass heavy festival, because you're a big trance head, you're a big techno head. What did you experience coming to this festival that was very different than festivals you've seen before?
I mean, it was like being in a city. Like, I normally don't go to festivals that have a lot of variation in stages too much. I usually like, if there's a 1 to 2, maybe 3 stages, they're kind of subsets of a genre, right? So it's like, for example, one festival, it's a trance festival, Dream State. They have several different kind of trance stages, but they're just subgenres, right? Like if you only went to a bass, Shambhala is a bass festival, right?
Kind of, yeah. It's mostly bass, but again, they have house music.
So they have a variety of bass stages.
Yeah,
right?
It's going to be a lot like Eclipse.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been to a festival like this. It was so huge, and when it was more, my intention going into it was just, I just want to have fun, and I have zero expectations, and I think that's a good way to do your first couple festivals. Just go, just have no expectations, because that's the people you see that get agitated. They like create this super rigid plan of what's going to happen.
Yep.
And what you plan at a festival never happens. It's much like backpacking the world. You just need to be open to experiences. And if you meet somebody and there's like a side adventure you're going to go on, then you just go with it.
SideQuest.
Yeah, SideQuest.
We got some SideQuest stories.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
But that's such a microcosm for life, though. Like you said, if you go in with expectation, you're going to end up disappointed. With a festival's like a little mini life. It's a little mini lifetime.
Yeah, it is.
And so if you go out into the world with these expectations of, everything has to be the way that I need it to be, yeah, you're going to get pretty fucking disappointed.
And there's a magic that I think every festival goer can say yes to, is there's a flow state that can occur, a perfect Botswana. There's a perfect Botswana experience that can happen at festivals. And that's how you know you're tuned in, tapped in, and you're like allowing everything to happen. You'll meet people you haven't. I met a guy I used to rave with when I was 20. Like, you just start running into people, and even your own group. It's like, if you get too coagulated together and you're like, we all need to do this or this or this. If you just let everybody be free, you just naturally come back together at the perfect timing all the time. You'll end up right next to somebody who'll be like, oh shit, like I've been looking for you for 3 hours, but you just let go. And then all of a sudden you come back together in this huge festival. It's like 2 miles, whatever big. It's like,
you'll run into each other at the perfect time when you need to run into each other. And that's why I think it's very powerful to have you and I both plan this, not purposefully, but we did it. You bought us all these mushroom hats.
yeah,
So everybody in our group had these beautiful, stylish, let's show them off to the crowd here, these gorgeous Ammonite mushroom hats. Yes. Worn, they're all the rage in Milan. And so we all 5 of us in the group are wearing these mushroom hats. And then I brought squeakers. And so we all had these little squeaky squeakers in our pockets.
Yeah.
And that's how we would communicate in the crowd. And so we had a visual with the mushroom hats to find our friends, and we had an auditory to find our friends. And if you have both of those two things, you're free to just roam and get lost and whatever. But if you ever need to find your friends, you just squeak and you wear your mushroom hat, and eventually you'll find the people you're looking for.
Exactly.
But you just can't be too attached to trying to find them.
No, if you start noticing you're stressing yourself out, you just gotta let go, right? It's a very freeing experience because you just get to play. Like it's just like being on the playground as a little kid. You're like, what do I want to do next? I want to go over to this thing.
Yeah.
Right? You don't worry about like, all right, guys, we're now all gonna go to this toy and play here.
Mm-hmm.
You just fucking running around.
Yeah, there's no
everywhere.
kid that's like grabbing all of his friends and like, all right, now everybody, we're going to the basketball
swings at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock swings
for 30 minutes.
But after that, we're going straight to the big toy.
Yeah, exactly. Do not deviate.
Yeah, that kid is getting alienated.
Yeah, exactly.
That kid's not allowed to hang out anymore.
No. So it's just a giant playground. And, I've needed to have fun for a while. And it's like, it's a reconnection to like 2 fun guys. It's like, with business, one of our ethos, one of the most important values is we need to keep continuing to have fun. And that's vitally important as you age. If you see these older people on Instagram that are still happy and feeling good, it's because they still have fun. It's like, and as you get older, it's easy to get more rigid, right? And there are definitely reasons you need to be more rigid because maybe you do have more bills or business is challenging or whatever, but it's like, you still got to go have fun. You still got to treat yourself, and you will be rewarded tenfold because of just the, feeling of lightness that you can come back with.
Yeah, you have to have that as you age specifically. It's like you said, very easy to get into the rigidness because life gets more complicated and you have more responsibility. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you have a business that's on your shoulders. Maybe you could have a million things that are bogging you down, and it is so easy to just get lost in that. And I think you and I, we fall into that trap sometimes, but the ethos of 2 fun guys is fun. It's not just 2 guys. It's 2 fun guys.
2 serious guys.
2 serious guys. 2 rigid guys.
Stressed out.
2 boring guys. So you have to have the fun. And dude, I saw people at this festival. I will never forget this. 2 maybe 75-year-olds, 70 to 75. This super sweet old couple. They're at the psytrance stage.
Yeah.
Which, if anybody knows psytrance, it is the most obnoxious genre of music on the face of the earth.
It's like electronic jungle pre-war music.
It's like if acid had fists and it was punching you in the ears repetitively. So these 2 75-year-olds, a sweet old couple. They're just at the psytrance stage. They can barely, like their hips are bad. You can see in the way they walk. They have bad knees, bad hips. The dude is like bow-legged, is overweight, but he's just there and he's just gigging and he's just going hard to some psytrance, and his wife is right there behind him and she's just flowing and dancing. And I'm like, dude, if I'm not at festivals when I'm 75 years old, just pull the plug. Just get me out of here. I want to be having fun when I'm 75. And yeah, I want to be extremely wealthy and have a lot of responsibility and have a family and have, grandkids and all that. But that doesn't mean you have to stop enjoying yourself.
It's exactly. And festivals all are so, I treat them as ceremonies, right? Because I mostly take mushrooms, maybe acid, but I take things that allow the opportunity to my brain and mind open up and make new connections and be in that flow state. Also, because you have so much space and time where you're not like on a schedule. It doesn't really matter what time it is. You have time to like reflect and process things too. So it's a kind of an extreme way to do a ceremony, you think, because most times you have like a container. Most times you don't take a bunch of psychedelics and then open yourself up to 40,000 people's energy, right? So you got to be a little bit of a cowboy if you really think about it. Yeah. You need to practice this a few times at home.
Yeah, don't do it for your first time, obviously.
Yeah. And if you do,
get comfortable.
Just microdose. Like the festival, most festivals and the key is you got to find festivals that the vibe's good. So that's why I said yes to this, because I know the vibe's going to be good. Because people from Japan, Australia, like international are coming. If you go to more like an EDC, or the more something gets corporate, the more you still have that feeling of like when you're in a club and people are looking at each other and they're judging each other, or like you can't really necessarily go up, like you're afraid like, oh, don't go talk to this girl, she might get fucking annoyed or whatever. It's like at a festival, it's like a playground. It's just like when the vibes are good, which is the most important thing I think at a festival. It doesn't even matter what the music is. You can have, as long as it's good music in any genre, if the vibe's good, you're going to fucking have fun. 100%. And when you have that, you can run into anybody, you can bump into anybody, because the last thing you want to do is be in an environment when you're on psychedelics and there's tension, or there's like animosity, or there's like weird energies of just like friction around you. That is no bueno. You don't want to open yourself up when you're in those environments.
Were there times at this festival when you felt that it was almost too much, or there was any overwhelm?
Yeah. I mean, taking mushrooms the whole time was great. Sometimes you have a little come up where you get a little anxious, but this is why it's important to have practices outside the festival where you practice yoga. And the most important skill you can learn, I think, when doing psychedelics or any deep work, even if it's just therapy, is being able to control your breath and regulate your nervous system through your breath. Because wherever you are, you at least have that tool to regulate it. And by lengthening your exhales or starting to do breath holds to increase the ability to take in more oxygen, to lengthen your exhales, then you have that tool to be fine. I think people that never gone inward and they do psychedelics, that's the people that freak out, right? So I think it was the last day that they had the festival, Sunday. I took acid and a little bit of Molly, and then it was just, sometimes when you go from one stage to another stage and it's so busy and you get the sound, it's that double sound bleed where you hear both stages at another stage, something about that just like spins me up to the point where I'm like, I want to fucking crawl out of my skin. But you're just like, stay calm, don't freak out. We had VIP, so the VIP area had like a chill hangout with chairs, and they had hammocks and like space so you could chill out. And so I went over there and chilled out and had this like hugely, deeply philosophical, I forgot how to speak English, philosophical conversation with this dude who was from Sacramento. And we were just having these crazy long, deep talks. Then you guys come over, and then I just started doing like laying on the ground and stretching. And by this time, our bodies are fucking smoked. Like Sunday, my back can barely like rotate, like something in the middle of my like sacrum is about to just like give out. Like Kyle was saying, is like, dude, my back was about to give out. Your knees and everything are just like brutally tight, which we'll go into how to prepare your body before a festival, because there's a way to do it to ensure that you can, push yourself and enjoy yourself. Yeah, but then after I regulated my breathing and blah, 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 I started to feel better. We went back to the stage, and then we went on SideQuest adventure, which all of a sudden completely changed my energy because I notice, you'll also notice too, maybe this is true in real life, is when you're feeling tension and anxiety, maybe you're going the wrong direction or continuing to focus on something where the energy is pinched. And a good example is this, being at the festival, as soon as, your friend Mary, she was like, just go wherever you want at any second, at any time. I was like, okay. Because most times when I go to a festival, I disappear on everyone all the time. Then I'll like randomly run into him, hang out with him, and then disappear. Because I just like to go wherever I want to go and experience things. And I feel fucking amazing. And so as soon as we like ran off and started going on adventures, all the anxiety washed away. And I was like, oh, I must have been fighting something within me. Like I didn't want to stand and if I just moved, but I didn't really realize that. So that was an interesting experience. And that kicked off a fucking grand adventure through the festival.
Well, I think to that point, it's just the ability to be free, the giving yourself permission to be free. Because and that's the tough part about being in a group sometimes, is that there's a misalignment in what people want. Overall, we all kind of want the same thing, but in the moment, we might want something different. So one person might want to watch this set. Oh, I really like this artist. I want to stay here. One person might feel the need to go run around and do something else. One person has to go to the bathroom. One person is hungry. One person is thirsty. And so having to stay together as a group, it's not feasible always. Mm-hmm. And, you want to be with your group because those are your friends and that's who you came with. But you have to be totally cool with just releasing that. And I think that's what you experienced was, there's a almost need to stay together. And so you felt trapped in this box. Now, I'm having fun, but I could be having more fun. I could be doing something grander. I could be doing something more aligned with how I want to act in this moment. Yeah. And then the moment that Mary gave you that permission, because she knows how your brain works, because you guys are the fucking same. Apparently, I attract the same type of people in my life always. And so
describe Mary so they can understand how I am.
Well, I think the thing is you have this, you're both very aware of what you need and what's going to make you happy in the moment. I think that's a big thing. You're both a little like, I don't know, you're more ADHD than she is.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, I guess I haven't lived with Mary, so I don't know how ADHD
you don't
can be.
Until you live with somebody.
I thought you were a normal guy until we fucking lived together.
I tricked you.
And now I realize that I'm an anthropologist because I spend most of my day just studying acts of Brent, trying to figure out why the fuck he does what he does. Because I'll tell you.
Give him one.
One?
Yeah, can you think of one?
Oh, I can think of one. The question is, which one do I give? There's so many weird things that you do. I'll ponder and I'll give the crowd a couple really good ones. I think one thing is that you're in the sky, right? I'm really grounded a lot of the time, but you're up in the sky, and I think that's why we make a good fun guy duo. I don't think you notice things around you. So like I could just rearrange the furniture and you probably would have no idea. I could move one thing every single day until the entire house was rearranged, and then you would just have no clue.
Probably.
Yeah. There's a ton of weird things. Oh, this is a weird one. I've always wondered what you do in the shower.
Why? Because I'm in there so fast?
Yeah, I want to put a camera in the shower, not to be a creep, but just to watch and to study what you do. Because you'll go in there for like 30 seconds. That's his shower time, 30 seconds. But then I'll go in afterwards, and it's not as bad anymore. It used to be worse.
Yeah.
It looked like a tornado went off. Fucking soap bottles on the ground. There's like shampoo just turned upside down. Everything is in a different place. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
That's funny because I don't notice that at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, as long as it's in the shower, then that's where it's supposed to be.
Like, did you just walk in the shower, spin around like a tornado a couple times, and then leave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though I see the shower as two things. You wash yourself, and that takes zero time. It's like soap, rinse. You're like, that takes literally no time. Or it's to get really warm so I can sleep. So if I take longer showers, it's because I'm just trying to get warm. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so Mary went on an adventure.
Yeah, so she recognized how Brent's brain works and was like, this guy needs You're like a border collie. This guy needs a job, and he needs to like herd people and be able to be free and just like go wherever. So she's like, all right, Brent, I'm going to put you in charge. You're in charge of SideQuest. She called you SideQuest daddy. Brent is now SideQuest daddy. Take us on a SideQuest. Don't worry about what we want, about what anybody needs. Just go. Don't worry if anybody's having fun. Just take.
You could be at a stage for 5 seconds, and if you see something and you want to go for it, just go for it. Don't even tell us. Just literally rip it.
Yeah, the vibes. Just feel the vibes and just follow the vibes. And so Brent was like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'm fucking SideQuest daddy." And so,
which was a little weird at first because I was like, "Okay, focus on going wherever I just want to go." And I could see like in my head pop up like, "Okay, does people want to stay at this stage longer?" Does like you can see the
what was that like? So talk about that. The change in the brain trying to switch out
like
people pleaser mode.
We're starting to go off
mode.
The adventure. I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I do? Okay, I want to go this way. But I could see in my head like, oh, maybe they don't want to go this way, or like they'll not, or they need to do other things or this or that. And then eventually I kind of just was like, fuck it. We'll go wherever we wanted. And it was fun because Sunday was actually the last day of the festival. There was supposed to be one more, but they canceled it. We'll talk about that. And the main stages all ended kind of early, like 12, because I think they wanted people to like get rest to be able to party and see the eclipse, so people could be up at like whatever it was, like 1:30 or something. But all the side stages were going off, and if you've never seen an art cart from Burning Man, those things are fucking crazy. They look like parade floats, but way more detailed, maybe not quite as big. And they're like, one was a skull face with beds and you could drive it with 2 stages on it. Another one was like a furry monster where like the wild things roam. Reminded me of that thing. And they had horns and would shoot fire out of it. And you could be on the back and it would bounce. There was another one that looked like a fucking like Satan's fucking, I don't know, DJ stage with fire in front of it and then fire on the top. And there was like 4 domes you could chill in, and those would shoot fire too. I mean, there were so many side stages. So I just started hitting all these different side stages. We went to the Earth stage, one of the first stages, and it was like some funky jazz group just like going off, and then would all of a sudden integrate wobbles into it just like so well. That was I've never heard music like that in my entire life. And that's also part of the fun of this festival, is that I didn't know most of the artists. So I was like, let's just fucking let it rip. That's the best, when you don't know most of the music and you're like, then you really don't have any, you don't give a shit what stage you're at. You're just going wherever sounds cool, and you get to discover new music because there's so much music.
I truly wish I could go back in time to when I didn't know anything about the artists, because I think back to my very first, we didn't even call them festivals. We just called them massives. Yeah. Because they were, like they weren't technically a festival, but it was.
UFC massives.
Yeah. They were indoors usually at like the WAMU Theater. It had 2 stages most likely, but it was maybe 10,000 to 20,000 people. So it's like festival size-ish, but they were smaller. But when you've only gone to, a show that's just one artist playing, and then you end up going to something that's this big, that's fucking mind-blowing. And I remember the first one I went to was in 2011, and it was called Beyond Wonderland, and it was in Seattle at the WAMU Theater. And I'll never forget the level of awe of just going in and being completely blown away by the level of production, by the amount of people. It's like, going to your first festival. And I knew none of the artists. I had just started getting into electronic music. And there's no expectation. There's no, I want to see this guy at this time, or this artist at this time, or I want to go over here. You just take whatever substance you end up taking, and then you just run around like a kid, and you don't care about anything. You just have a phenomenal time.
Exactly.
And everything is mind-blowing. Yeah. Everything is mind-blowing. Everywhere you turn is something completely new. You're like, I've never fucking seen that before. Over here, I've never fucking seen that before. And you're just getting your mind blown left and right. And then, years go by. You go to a bunch more. I ended up working for that same company, so I saw how the cheese was made. And now they just like the magic is kind of gone at that point. So I still love going, but it's like I know too much almost. So I would love to do the Men in Black, like erase my mind thing and forget everything I know about festivals and then just go do it again.
I think the key is we just have to go to festivals.
I think you just have to be higher, because then you won't remember anything.
Yeah. I mean, well, for me, I don't know many bass artists. Maybe I've heard many tracks, but I don't know any artists. So reading it, I don't know anybody.
Right.
And then jam bands, I don't fucking listen to jam bands. There's this Lone Star stage.
Yeah, you
that
have
was like-
testosterone. You don't listen to jam bands.
Yeah, it was just jam bands. I knew some of the artists here and there. And then the Earth stage, I didn't fucking know. This is like completely out of my genre. It's not techno, it's not trance, it's not progressive, it's not house, it's not drum and bass. So it's like not most of those were not there. Right. So I'm like, whatever, just fucking let's party on. Yeah, it was super fun. So anyways, we go to all these different side stages. We went to Meow Wolf. They had a Meow Wolf in the middle.
Tell us about the show that you saw at Meow Wolf.
So I was on my 6-hour adventure on Saturday by myself. I went to the lake. When no one was there was a lake there, and there was a sauna and steam room and mineral bath they built. And I went there and I had a backpack, put my I don't know, Indian designed fucking blanket on the ground. I jumped in the lake, cooled off, stretched. And this is like in the middle of the festival, but it's like a 20-minute walk outside one of the stages, and just laid there for a while, reflected on things, got to do yoga. I mean, that's one of my favorite things about the festival too, is I feel like it really heals my body. I get a lot of time to just do a lot of stretching, because anytime I do psychedelics, I can tell where there's energy pinches in my body and my spine, and I like have to stretch. And so before the festival, I did a lot of yoga and stopped lifting, so my muscles were recovered, but my energy and my like body was starting to be open. Because last thing you want to do is lift all the way up, be super exhausted, be trying to recover while you're walking 20, 30,000 steps every single day, maybe only sleeping 3 to 5 hours. It's not a good way to do it. Yeah, went over there, did yoga, and then there's what was cool about this is it felt like we were in a carnival. Mm-hmm. That's what it felt like. There was all these side little adventures. There was a stage for people that were giving talks. Paul Statements was there, which is just on Rogan, which everybody should listen to. They had people talking about like psychedelics and AI and the future of AI, just anything from psychedelics to AI, which I'm now starting to see more and more. I think AI and psychedelics are like coming to a place of merging. Statements was talking about how, a lot of these religions, even like Christianity, he said, okay, so this is interesting. On that episode, he said that there's this certain subset of Christians, they came to him and they're like, we want to thank you so much for all the work you've done, because people taking psilocybin has like grown our church. And he goes, what's interesting, Statement said, is that people that take psychedelics, it just strengthens whatever faith they believe in to become that much stronger, to follow the rules and become better people within their own religion, whatever religion it is. Doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Christian, pagan, Muslim, Buddhist, like your faith and your connection to it deepens. So like you uphold the morals and things deeper. He was like, that blew his fucking mind. That was wild. What was I talking about before that? Fuck.
Meow Wolf.
Meow Wolf. So I go to Meow Wolf. It was a theme called Gone Fishing. You walk in and it's like Krong Pin, but like slowed down and echoey as you walk through. And there's like empty merch and then just like a fishing stage and just like all kinds of Meow Wolf's so fucking cool. The lighting, the way you can walk through exhibit. And Meow Wolves are all over the place with different themes, right? Just kind of like art installations that just make you really think and challenge your mind. You said there's like clues and you can actually figure out something, right?
At the real Meow Wolves. I think this was just an exhibit. And
then in the middle was a really cool stage that had like native rugs on the ground, and it was built kind of in a circle, and everything looked like tents that weren't like main stages, like the yoga shala, the talking area, different other little stages, indigenous stage. They were like these really cool futuristic built, I don't know, tents basically. And in the center was that Meow Wolf was that stage, and it kind of looked like a Disney kids house, like setup, like like Disney Kids Club or whatever. And they're all sitting around. It's like it looked like that. And there was a stage, and I walked in and it said, "Come back for bedtime stories at 12." So I went on some adventure. I was like, oh, it's almost 12. I'll just go back and see what's going on. It's like, I don't really want to listen to a bedtime story. And it was this like super raunchy drag queen that was like incredible at performing, make us laugh, say all kinds of like super witty jokes. You're like, this shit's next level. This is not like just a random. This person must perform a lot. And then there was a couple burlesque shows back to back, a puppet, whole performance, a chick on stilts doing lassos, and just super funny. And it kept going on. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, I hear a squeak, 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 squeak. And that's the signal. That means you look, someone from the group is nearby, and I look over across the stage slightly outside the circle, and all four of you guys are standing there in your mushroom hats because you had seen my mushroom hat, and our advanced technology for geolocating works so well. Yeah.
A full callback to why you do a visual and an auditory clue so you can find your friends.
Yeah.
Mushroom hats and squeakers.
Exactly. And then on the last night, that same stage just had like a really cool mix of like progressive and then house DJ that was playing kind of like 128 or lower, just like vibing, and people just hanging out, talking and stuff. Yeah.
So this was your first time seeing an actual eclipse, like a full total solar eclipse.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that like?
Yeah, so the last day they canceled the festival. I woke up because I'd taken acid and I don't really sleep, and everyone's sleeping. And I get up and I'm hanging out outside, and then this crazy neighbor lady who's like, they stole all my mushroom chocolates and they're narcissists and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, get out of here. She's like, they canceled the festival. And I was like, all right, this lady's crazy. Let me talk to some other people about what she's talking about. Go to this other guy, looks like a normal human, ask him. He says something similar. Go find another lady who has a walkie-talkie who's walking on business. And I'm like, okay. She tells me the festival, people didn't get paid. There's a storm coming and there's no more water. So, okay. So I'm like, all right, let's go tell Kyle. He's kind of like the captain of the ship of the RV, kind of like manager of everything. So I tell him quietly outside. We go find another real person, and they say that it's been canceled due to like weather or water, something. So mass exodus of people start going out, like, because we're right up in RV camping on the main road, and it's just like hundreds of cars back to back to back. And we're like, fuck that. We're not going to be stuck on the road watching the eclipse. So we stay. We go on some more adventures into the festival, dropping people off, blah, blah, blah. Come back just in time for the eclipse. And the night before, I was talking to that guy in the side, and he said, he's like, what it's like watching an eclipse is like, imagine you listen to jazz and all you've ever listened to your entire life is high school jazz bands. That's all you've ever heard, right? And then in this moment, when you watch the eclipse, it's like you have Louis Armstrong playing the trumpet right in front of you live. He's like, it's the most incredible thing I've seen in my entire life. And watching the eclipse, it was weird. In my mind, I didn't feel like, wow, this is incredible. I've never seen anything. Like, it's almost like hard to comprehend, but in my body, I could feel like my heart quivering and like opening up, like you wanted to like cry with joy. And then I had like tears streaming down my eyes. Like it was like opening up like my heart center, like big time. And like, I was like vibrating with that energy. And I was like, holy shit. Also on top of it, both my parents are pretty ill. And I was getting a bunch of texts and phone calls, and I try not to look at my phone at all, but I saw one text was like, up some bad news about one of my parents, and I was like, holy shit. And then to go out to watch the eclipse, I'm like, is my mom literally about to pass on the eclipse? This is going to be fucking crazy. Because after the eclipse, I was going to look at the text, right? Because I thought people were calling me like, say goodbye, say goodbye. And I was like, that made it that much more intense. But then everything was like pretty chill. But yeah, I also thought about all the things I wanted to let go of, and just like visualizing myself like dissolving and reconstituting and all that. It was fucking rad. But at the same time, I feel like it's the Men in Black thing. It's like I almost can't remember. It's so crazy looking that it's like it's hard to remember and describe. I can just remember the feeling though. What about you?
Yeah. Similar, minus the parents dying part. But I've seen I've seen a solar eclipse before, right, in 2017. The funny thing, though, with this one is that this felt way more powerful than the first one. I remember looking at the eclipse and, you're in awe. Wow, cool, an eclipse. The moon is in front of the sun. And it was like, it was a pretty sight, but it didn't have the same impact. For some reason, this one, I could feel the energy. It's like I could feel the solar energy from the sun and the lunar energy from the moon, and I could feel the alignment lined up perfectly with Earth. And I was like, holy fuck, I'm right in the middle of all of it. And it was like a vibration. And yeah, like you said, the heart center opened. Like I teared up. I definitely didn't tear up the first time, but just overwhelmed with this emotion that I can't quite put my finger on.
Yeah, it's weird, right? You're like, I don't know why tears are streaming from my face.
It felt very much just like a transition period.
Yeah.
Like I'm letting go of something and I'm moving into something else. I'm transitioning to a new phase, and it's an emotional experience. And so this one hit way harder than the last one. I feel like it lasted way longer than the last one. So yeah, it was extremely powerful, really beautiful. And another thing that I thought was so cool and just a gift from the sky was that it was cloudy pretty much all day. And then the clouds cleared up for the exact 5-minute period that the eclipse happened. And as soon as the eclipse finished and we had the perfect view with 0 clouds came right back.
Yeah.
So it was just a little gift from the sky gods, giving us a little something so we can see. So yeah, it was really, really powerful to see it the second time.
I feel like if there's another Eclipse Festival, I would go. But I think
we're gonna follow the Eclipse Festival,
because now I kind of like, I'm addicted to it because I want to see it again.
Yeah,
right.
You want to see Louis Armstrong,
and I want to do one out of the country. I think that would be fun. Find somewhere like it's like in Brazil, or
there was supposed to be one in South America in 2020, but that got canceled. The old
Anna
COVID.
was telling me the next one's going to be in Spain. Spain would be a dope place. If they have a festival there,
yeah,
the vibes would be good in Spain.
They'd be great.
Yeah.
And Disco Donnie won't be involved.
No Disco Donnie. Yeah. So overall, the festival was amazing. Great time. We're in the RV, meeting lots of cool people, having lots of fun, seeing all kinds of side attractions, good music, lots of time to like reflect on our business a lot. Coming back with the renewed, like, got to have more fun. We're going to start a new side business. SideQuest Industries to just allow ourselves to have more fun with business, right? Like we have so much fun with this. And if this makes money one day, fucking amazing. And if it doesn't, whatever. But I think that's the key, even with our Amazon stuff, is we need to just try some products that are just for fun. And we'll let guys know about them because they'll be perfect for festivals. And they may take a while, but they're just something to just do and tinker with on the side. Just like an artist goes into their shop and they just create things. And then all of a sudden some style or whatever emerges that just blows up.
Yeah, I think the alignment and the fun is a huge aspect to this, because if you look at what we've done with Amazon, we've had little successes and we've made big strides and stuff, but it's like an uphill battle all the fucking time. Whereas the podcast, we came into this with the expectation of maybe down the line it'll make money, but honestly, we're just doing this for fun. We're doing this to document, we're doing this to meet cool people, and that's really it. And we're just doing it because it's in alignment with who we are and what we want to do. And look at the strides that we've made in podcasting. We've not say we're like the best podcast in the world right now. We're blowing up super fast
in the universe.
But we have we've hit some big milestones on this, and we've got connected to some incredible people, all because there's no need to have anything from it. It's just we're doing what we want to do in the moment and what feels right, and that's Botswana. That's super Botswana.
You got it.
Aligning yourself with what you want to do.
I think I was thinking about this. Maybe we should make these t-shirts or something that's like, or maybe even a brand that's Botswana and it's like clothing or something.
Yeah, I've thought about this for years.
Yeah,
we totally could.
I just don't want to de-energize the power of it by putting it on a product.
Right. No, and I don't want a Botswana thing to be something that we try to put. That's why I haven't done it. I've thought about it, but it would just be a thing that our homies would wear. And it's not, I don't want to try to profit off of Botswana.
Yeah, it would just be, private merch.
private merch. You have to have a secret code to get the secret merch.
Yeah, it's for Botswana merch.
For Botswana merch.
That's special.
Yeah,
merch.
anybody can buy Two Fun Guys merch. We'll profit off Two Fun Guys merch. But Botswana
anybody
merch,
can be a fun guy.
yeah, anybody can be a fun guy. But you have to earn Botswana.
You got to earn Botswana. Well, it's not necessarily earn it as much as you have to you have to
embrace it. You have to live it.
You have to respect it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to when you hold something in great esteem with respect, or I don't know what the word is, but reverie, like you have to really, I don't know, like get it or understand it. There's an understanding.
There's an understanding and a reverence that has to come with it. Otherwise, it's like it's like making a bunch of Jesus merch. You're like, come buy my Jesus shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's almost, dare I say, like a holy thing in some ways.
Dare you say it?
He
dared.
Tell people. Tell them.
About Botswana.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're ready for Botswana.
All right.
Ladies,
pay close attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, Botswana is beautiful. It is the kiss from your lover after years apart. Botswana is the dew on a spider web after a cold, moist night. Botswana is the laughter of children in the distance. Botswana is a hug from your best friend. That's Botswana. So that's the artistic version of Botswana. What Botswana really is the full understanding that everything you need will come at the right time as long as you align yourself with the right energy. And so it can be something as simple as finding the right parking spot, which I do constantly. And Brent can attest to this. If we're trying to find a parking spot, you go, Botswana, Botswana, Botswana. You just believe Botswana and you will get the best parking spot. You will always find it. It's the full trust that the universe has your fucking back. And it can be as big as manifesting your lover, your soulmate, or getting the house you want, or whatever it is. It's the full alignment and being where you need to be and knowing that the universe will take care of you as long as you are in congruence with yourself. So that's Botswana. It is the light side to the force. There's also a dark side. The dark side we don't like. But you have to have the dark side to have the light side. The dark side is called Haran. Because Haran is heroin, and heroin is bad. And you don't want to do heroin, ladies and gentlemen. So you have Botswana and you have Haran. And Haran is, like I said, it's a bad thing. You don't want, that's Haran, keep that away from me.
It's an energy, but it moves in the direction of darkness.
It moves to darkness, yes. And Botswana is the light. It is the joy. It is the power that you want to embrace fully. And everybody has a little Haran in them because that's just, it's the darkness. You can't have Botswana without Haran, but you have to be aware when there's Haran. And so this has, they're silly words, and it has started probably in 2009, 2010, and it has evolved starting as a little joke. It's evolved into like an actual movement. It started with just friends, and it got to a point where back in Seattle, where it was cultivated, people I did not know would say the words Botswana, and I would say, what did you say? And they're like, oh, it's Botswana. I'm like, where the fuck did you learn that? I came up with that. Or like me and my group came up with that. Yeah. There's no way that you know about it.
Yeah.
And so it just started spreading, funnily enough, into kind of a weird movement. So if you ever hear somebody talk about Botswana, it's actually tattooed in my lip. You probably can't see it. I'm sure it's faded away, but a couple of us got it tattooed in there.
It's a good code to know if you're a spore.
If you're a spore. Yeah, the true spores who listen to this episode, they'll know.
It's like a squeaker.
Yep.
It's like
Botswana squeakers.
Botswana squeakers. That would be awesome. Botswana. I love it. All right. What else? What was your peak highlight of the festival?
My peak highlight, I've actually thought about this, and it's not an answer that you would expect. So my peak highlight of the festival has actually nothing to do with the festival. It actually involves you. So the peak highlight of this festival, gay. So the peak highlight
calls two gay boys,
two gay guys podcast. The big thing is, okay, we're going to take the mood down for a second. So life has beaten both of us down a little bit recently, but you specifically. Life's kind of kicked you in the ass with, and I respect so much your resilience and how much you keep pushing, even though life is like, hey, Brent, fuck you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, dude. And I think that I tried at the beginning, like, because all these things kind of happened. I was like, let's get Brent to have some fun. Let's bring some fun into Brent's life, because I see how important it is, and we're two fun guys. We need to have fun, and there's almost like a resistance to the fun a little bit, which we can fall in that trap because you want to kind of stay.
Well, I think what it is for me is I'm like Capricorn, I'm Sagittarius, which in a nutshell basically means one is super disciplined and just trudges along despite how fucking rocky a mountain gets.
Right.
And then Sagittarius is like the hippie who becomes nomadic and just goes everywhere, right? So I have these two selves. But when I was younger, maybe you too, it's like you partied so much you didn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
And so there's this fear that like energy I will be quote unquote irresponsible and I will stop making progress and whatnot. But every time I do go have fun, I'm like, whoa, it's like a release and a renewal, and you actually do better in your business.
Yeah, you're like, I forgot about all the fun.
Yeah.
And so the biggest win, I think, was coming out of this and then seeing how your energy has shifted. And I can feel more vivacious energy from you. Like even on this podcast, like you're more jacked up, you're more excited, you're more talkative. And that's the fucking two fun guys energy that we need.
Yeah.
And so coming out of the festival and seeing how social you are, how much you want to talk to people, how much you want to share the experience with others, or even just let's go to dinner with these friends. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. That's the fucking Brent and Tony combo that we need.
Yeah.
And so that's my biggest win, is the two fun guys being fucking fun.
I appreciate you, man.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. For me, I would say, that just like feeling myself again and renewed. And also, I mean, thank you so much to you for pushing me to do it. I was going to do it no matter what, but I was like kind of like ignoring it for a little bit. And I was just like, Tony knows best. I'm just going to go for it. I just got to do it. I got to stop being a little bitch. I just got to stop being a little bitch.
Yeah. It's like sometimes we're little bitches. It's life.
At some point, like you just got to just be like, I just got to go do something else. Like, and just whatever. It's like, it's not the best time for any of the businesses or any of these things. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's like also, seeing the eclipse and seeing how small you are. You have such a small amount of time here. And it's like, don't wait till you're successful, right? It's like, and you see even people that have a lot of money who still are trapped in that. They keep waiting to go do those things where you look at them and you're like, I would do this, 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 and this. But it's a practice that has to start now. So when you do have money or you do have wherever you want to be, you're continually doing it. You're not always just like the future. Because then it's like, then it's all over. It's like, you got to have fun. Like you got to enjoy yourself. And so, I don't know, my so many favorite things, but I think just, being renewed. And also that last night, Sunday, you, me, and Mary, I will remember that.
Notch.
I will remember that for the rest of my life. It's just like the most fun, the most letting go during dancing, the most laughing, the most being so ridiculous and just like insane flow state. And then to watch you do shit is just like, this man, when he's in flow state, is fucking crazy. He gave like several performances, gave several like shuffle, like blowouts at different stages, like just so fun.
Sold a rock.
Sold a
Started
rock.
an auction.
Meow Wolf stage. Fucking did a whole auction that he just made up out of nowhere. It was phenomenal. I was like, at the end of that night, I was like, I don't need another night. I'm satisfied.
I'm glad the festival ended the night it did and they canceled the last day, because you can't top SideQuest night.
No, SideQuest night was great. And opportunity to just like think and reflect on things, and also just for us to reconnect again. That was awesome. Just to be able to like, that's the other thing great about festivals is you get to have moments where, if you're on a little bit of mushrooms or you're in this environment where you're relaxed, you get to like have conversations that you just don't get to have during the day, or have I mean, this is probably true for people that are like, in like romantic relationships. You get in your, like us living in the house, it's like take out the trash, talk about Amazon, go work out, what's up, eat steak, blah, blah. It's like rinse, repeat. But then you're like, you get to rekindle the magic that you have together just doing fun shit. And then you get to like see each other again. You're like, this is dope.
Yeah, exactly. Get out of the routine.
Yeah, super important. Now I'm like, okay, now I got to plan that next thing. It's like it needs to be a continual practice of having fun.
Totally. Yeah. Once you get out of one, I think that's why like at least 2 festivals a year.
Yeah.
You know, bare minimum 1. You got to have a full reset like once a year. But if you can come out of a festival and already set your sights on the next one, you consistently have something to look forward to. Because if you don't, you will get caught in this loop, right? Unless you're naturally good at just living in the moment and just like, oh, there's a festival here, I'll go, or there's a show here, I'll go to this, or there's a camping trip, I'll go here.
Yeah.
Which you and we can easily fall into like just work mode. So it's like if we don't have something on the books, we probably just won't go do it.
Yeah, you just got to plan that trip, plan that vacation, plan it with people you love and care about, and just go do stuff.
First step, just buy a plane ticket or book a ticket or buy a pass to something or whatever.
Yeah,
just make the first step and then the momentum will carry you.
It reminds me of when I do ayahuasca ceremonies, the Mastero would say, you know, weak body, strong spirit. Like festivals can be that way. You're taking psychedelics, you're not sleeping a lot, you're dancing hard, you're staying up super late. It's like you need to do that sometimes for your soul. Like you need to push yourself. It's okay if you're not on your circadian rhythm and going to bed at every single night at 9 o'clock, right? Also, there's a way to do festivals with health and wellness in mind. You don't have to fucking take Coke. You don't have to fucking drink alcohol. You don't have to fucking do dirty ass drugs. You can do things that can open your brainwaves, give you reflection and connection, and come back completely renewed in every aspect of your life. It's like there's a way to festival that's like a ceremony that can completely, I don't know, just be so healthy and, I don't know, good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do it consciously. And there's a lot of people that do it unconsciously, and then it gives, quote unquote partying or festivals a bad name.
Yeah.
Because they're just getting drunk, they're getting wasted, they're doing cocaine the whole time.
Yeah.
Just like fucking yourself up. But yeah, you take some mushrooms, you take some acid, and then you take supplements to replenish all the neurotransmitters, and then you also make sure you do get enough sleep, and you do all these things. You go do yoga, you take care of yourself. You're gonna come back feeling better.
100%.
Yeah, and I like our crew. Huge shout out to the fucking RV Mushroom Squad.
Hell yeah.
To Kyle, to Dustin, to Stella, to Mary who joined the crew, like to you. Shout out to me.
Shout out to Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking great festival crew.
Yeah, great festival crew. Everyone was helpful. Everyone had good vibes. Everyone, not their first rodeo. Everyone just like working together like a family. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. And then the honorary mushroom hat, AJ.
Yes. Shout out to AJ.
Who just always shows up to every festival. I've never gone to a festival and not seen AJ.
That's amazing. All right. Any last reflections?
I'm just super grateful for the experience, for the crew that we had, for you, dude, for getting to see a phenomenon like a solar eclipse and for it to be as powerful as it was and to feel the energy of like solar, lunar, earth, personal energy, like all of it just in line. And for the transition, I mean, eclipses are known as transitionary phases. If you're going to study like cosmology, like that's a huge time of transition and like letting go of the old and moving into something new. So I'm just excited to see where things are going to go from here because we're obviously entering a whole new paradigm.
Nice. And I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for, the transition time as well. One of my goals is they say eclipse energy lasts 30 days before and 30 days after. So today I'm letting go of caffeine for a stint. I don't know. I'm not going to say forever because that's not realistic at all, but I'm going to let go of caffeine. Also just all the struggles, we've had, but I've also had in the last 2 years, relationships, family, all that, just letting it dissolve and just coming at everything in my life with new energy and new eyes, and then continue to cultivate that presence and trying to continue to like, just remember, have fun. I think that's like at the core of it, just remember to have fun. When you have fun, you connect with people. When you have fun, you free up any energy around your heart. When you have fun, you're less stressed, less anxious. You're in the moment. I mean, there's so much that can just happen from just literally having fun.
Just have fun. That's why we're the 2 fun guys.
Yeah.
It all comes back.
Botswana.
Exactly. All right,
Exactly.
keep your eyes peeled for some fun guy merch.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys have any kind of mushroom merch, Two Fun Guys merch that you think would be a good idea, you can always hit us up at Two Fun Guys Podcast on Instagram. That's probably the best place to hit us up, or twofunguysbiz@gmail.com if you want to be super fucking formal about it. But I'm always on Instagram. But yeah, hit us up. Let us know. I mean, we had other incredible, crazy ideas. We were thinking like, how cool would it be to have a podcast stage where we just interview people live at like a random side stage and podcast with people? I mean, that could be super dope. Ideas for our own ranch and building stuff on that to hold events and parties and all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, there's an endless amount of like new creative thoughts and energy that we got from this. Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Until next time, Spores.
Spores out.